Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, part of the Repurpose Network, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentiss Thompson, and what we do? We talk to real people, pastors, leaders, engineers, tech people, manufacturers, worship leaders, all about church, technology, and provide solutions for a successful Sunday morning service. You ready? It's time to take a ride. Let's go.
Yes, welcome to another edition of Church Sound Podcast. I am your humble host, Mr. Prentiss Thompson. You guys keep on clapping, and have that feel-good feeling. I love when you clap for me, even though I manufacture them myself. It's gratifying for my ego. It does come in handy. Everyone has an ego, but you have to engage it. Kind of like my bass tone, because I have a button in the back of my neck that I use to engage my bass tone. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs of all ages, welcome to Season 4, Church Sound Podcast. We are still live on location. Did I say that? We are live on location, which means it's recorded. That's what it means. It means it's recorded. We're growing leaps and bounds. We're going to have a staff sooner or later. Right now, it's my staff consists of three people. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Me, myself, and I. What better company could you have with me and with yourself? Right. It only works if you talk to yourself, you don't answer yourself. Because if you talk to yourself and you answer yourself, people say you're crazy. But if you answer in response to the question, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. I just want to let you guys know that. Hey, listen. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, I'm having a blast here at the Wave event here in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Muhammad Ali, the greatest fighter, one of the greatest human beings of the 20th century. So I was very happy when I came to the airport and I saw they named it after him.
Wow. And
they have a great logo, man. I gotta get a selfie with that thing when I head home.
That's awesome.
Because it was a late night. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of presenting I think we're gonna be friends. Absolutely.
Yeah.
His name is Patrick Bass.
Yes. Like the fish.
Like the fish, because at first I was going to say bass, but then that would apply to your friend.
Right.
And then that doesn't really coincide with your name, and bass and fish go to better than bass. It doesn't really match. But listen, I was really touched with your worship approach, and I like you have this subtleness about you. And I liked how you flowed from song to song very effortlessly to the point where I said, I think I know that song, but not that version, But is that different? It's fine. But it worked. So let's start back from the beginning with you. How did you when did music become a part of your life?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
we are absolutely friends, and it's going to be a blast. I think it started when I was like 4 or 5 years old. My dad was a drummer, and when I was around that age, I started taking interest in the drums. So drums was actually my first instrument. My dad taught me a few things and bought me my first drum kit. I was like 5 years old, and I started playing drums really. Like, I would just sit there for hours and hours and hours in my room and put on the Walkman headphones, and I would be,
okay.
I learned to play drums to like DC Talk and Audio Adrenaline and Stephen Curtis Chapman. Like, grew up just like playing drums to like CCM of the day in the 90s. And So that's how I got started. I started playing at like chapels at my school. I went to a Christian school, and then I started playing in big church when I was like 9 years old.
He said big church.
Big church.
Watch out now. That's
Yeah,
like the
I know.
big piece of chicken. That's like the he said I played in the big church.
In the big
The
church.
big church right there.
Which was a big deal, like in the youth group, and then you got the big church, and then so that was always my thing, and it wasn't really until I think I was in 7th grade I took a classical guitar class, and that kind of sparked something in me where I was like, man, I think I want to try to my brain never really worked well like learning music, but I knew like I wanted to play, like I had to get something out, So that's kind of where it started, and then I kind of like got into songwriting when I was like 15 years old, something like that thing, and leading worship in youth group and leading worship in different churches when I graduated high school, and it just kind of spun off from there. So.
Wow. It's funny that you mentioned big church, and it sparked a really surreal memory of me as a kid. So go with me back to the days of yonder.
Let's go.
So where I grew up in Harlem, and I grew up in the projects, and behind my building, there were no basketball courts, right? So we were too little to play on the basketball court with the big kids. So what we did was we would play full court with garbage cans.
Wow.
So you imagine a bunch of little kids out there,
Yeah.
like, we're trying to mimic the best players of the day. And then we took a crate, and then we hung it on a fence. And then that was our court,
Wow.
Then we graduated, and then it was like you to the big church. He said,
Ooh.
and then we went to the big court.
That's right.
With the big guys.
That's right.
And you would sit on the sideline,
Man.
and then you see all the big guys playing. If they recognize you could play, because they would bump you off the court when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So you would go to the park early so you could play on the big court,
Yeah.
right? And then the big guys would come. They would go like, "I leave,"
Yeah.
literally, like we're playing, like move.
Yeah.
You guys go sit over there.
Right.
If they noticed that you could play, if they were missing a man,
Dang.
and they would go, you see them scour the fences like, "All right, you."
Wow.
And I remember the first time they called me into the game.
I was gonna ask if you got
so,
picked.
So finally,
Oh my
finally said, "All right," because my childhood nickname was PL. So he said, "All right, little PL, come here."
Wow.
And they got me. It was like, "Okay, don't shoot. If you get the ball, pass it. Don't dribble." I was like, "What am I supposed to do?"
You are merely a placeholder.
I was really a placeholder.
Yeah.
So you know what I did
Dang.
when I got the ball, right? Oh man,
I'm
hockey
hoping you
shot.
shot.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
It was so bad.
Oh my god.
It was so bad. I mean, I took my friend. I know it's a great detour, but it's a great story. Anyway, so I go to the basket, right? And it was this guy in my neighborhood. They called him Butter. He was a really nice guy, but he was really big.
Dang.
And he could leap. So here I come. I'm like, I'm going to take my shot, I'm going to take my shot. And I go to lay the ball up, and all I see is like his belly button go past my nose, right? He palms the ball on the backboard, scrapes it off, and throws it down court for.
My gosh.
You know what I did the next time? Take a guess.
I don't know.
I shot it again.
You shot it again?
I shot it
Dang.
again.
Wow.
And it took me like 2 weeks to get back on the court. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, so
My man. That's awesome.
you gotta go for it. You gotta
do.
go for
You
it.
can't let butter intimidate you.
I can't. Hey, listen.
Butter melts,
Hey,
first
listen.
of all.
Not him.
It melts.
Not him.
Not that butter.
Oh man. Oh man. Shout out to Butter if you're
Come
out
on,
there,
Butter.
brother. Good gracious, man. That dude was amazing. Anyway, so all right. So so you got the guitar, and it kind of became you realized that was part of your instrument of expression.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. I felt like there was, because the thing about it was, which is really odd, when I was like 13 years old, I was in this band, and it was like heavier music, like hardcore music, and I was co-writing a lot of the songs, but like I didn't I didn't play an instrument yet. And so there was like something in me that already had, or I didn't play like the guitar yet, and there was something in me that like had a natural pull to that, like wanting to be a part of that with lyrics and melodies and chords and all that stuff. So when I picked up the guitar, it was like, yeah, this feels like there's a lot of stuff that needs to come out here. So
Wow. So what was your first guitar? What was the
I still
manufacturer?
have it actually.
Really?
It's very beat up, and at the time in seventh and eighth and ninth grade, I thought it was cool to like draw on things with Sharpies and write, put stickers on things, and it was like $100. I got it from George's Music in Jacksonville, Florida. Love that place. I got it. It's like a Fender, a classical guitar. I couldn't tell you the model number. It's written inside the thing, but it's beat to mess and back, but I still have it. First guitar ever. I still have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did the relationship of songwriting start for you? Because I heard you mention songwriting.
Hmm.
Did it happen before the guitar?
I think so. Yeah, it happened before the guitar. It was really when I was in that band that I started really feeling a pull to it. And then once I got the guitar, it was like that was all bets are off. Like I learned, like I did so poorly in guitar class, like because I couldn't make my brain like I was like I don't want to learn how to play like flamenco. I don't want to learn like I don't understand what notes on a page look like. I was like, just give me 3 chords. Like show me how to play a G and a D and a C and like an E minor, and that's all I needed. I was just like, that's it. That's all I need. And that's when, I started making like silly songs with my friends and started writing stuff. But really, really, when I was like probably 15 years old, was when I started to like actually like write my own singer-songwriter stuff. That's probably when all that started.
The thing I like I'm a big James Taylor fan.
Yeah.
Huge James Taylor fan. The thing is, like, his songwriting was so great, but his approach was so consistent. No matter what the style of song it was, no matter if he didn't write the song, his impression was always it's him.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, especially in music today, because it's so accessible, when I started doing music, you had to go to the music store and buy things to make music. Now, Mom and Dad, can you get me a laptop? Because all I need is a few programs.
Yeah.
And I can loop some of these guitar loops. And you know what? I am an artist.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
We were just talking about that earlier.
Right. And so what's happened is artists that are now artists 20 years ago would not be artists.
Yeah.
So now you have these people who learn how to manipulate computers and programming, and now we accept that as artistry.
Yeah.
And it's across every genre of music.
Yeah.
But what I often tell people is that it's like Sunday morning service is a concert 52 times a year. It's the only genre where it's a concert every Sunday.
Interesting. Yeah.
So the musicianship is developed in the church. The greatest musicians that you find on tour with every other band will normally come out of a church
Yeah.
or a pub.
Yeah, totally.
that rock out every Saturday night.
Yes.
So that is the guts of it, is the musicianship and the approach of it, and then on top of that, learning how to write songs. So I remember you were talking to me about Nashville, and I was in Nashville a couple of years ago, because they would have, a while ago, they would have the convention there. What is the name of that convention? Oh gosh, I'm blanking. Stellar Wars. I went to the Stellar Wars there, and I met so many country artists out there, and they were talking about they were telling me about the process of songwriting there. It was amazing how they would bring in musicians and they could all play these different styles of music.
Oh my goodness.
And you don't even know. It's kind of like Motown in the sense where it was just like the circle of songs.
Yes.
Was it like? Because I know you mentioned. I remember you mentioned in Nashville to me at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess about a year and a half ago, I went and cut a 5-song country EP in Nashville. And, bro, uh, I had never met any of the musicians that were going to play on the record. I only knew the producer that I was working with, and my wife was with me. And it was an extremely intimidating and humbling experience, as much as it was thrilling and exciting. But the humbling thing was these guys that played on the record. We tracked these 5 songs at Omni Sound Studios in Nashville.
Oh, great spot.
Yeah, insane historical spot, and they we all gathered around like in the control room, and the producer put on the demo of the first song and like played it through the speakers, and some of the guys were like talking to each other about what they ate for dinner last night and like paying attention, but like not really paying attention. And this is my first experience in that type of world. I've done a lot of recording before, but this whole experience was new to me. So the song ends and they're like, all right, you want to go cut it? And then they all go into their respective positions and get in the live room, and they're all like, okay, set the BPM. And I went into the booth to sing along with them just to record some scratch vocals. And they just played the song like in one take all together
Amazing, right?
in the same room. Like there was no beat detective or beat alignment. Like there was no like snapping things to grid, and like like they were the grid. Like these musicians were unlike anyone I've ever played with in my life, and I was blown away. I was like, they just played the song. Like never hearing the song, like
Right.
never seeing, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
it's just a different level.
Right.
It was mind blowing. So I realized, I was joking with my wife when we left town like a couple days later. I was like, well, first of all, I realized I'm not a musician. That is a musician, and I am not that. So that's incredible. But dude, it was like a fire hose of learning, like just being around those people and seeing the way they do things, and being around the engineers and the mix engineers and seeing the way they do things and how quick they are. Like they've got it down, dude. It was wild.
It's kind of like beyond 10,000 hours of expertise that for you to be. This is like beyond that. It's,
No, yeah.
I TD at a church that has a 45 member orchestra,
Wow.
right? So I remember like my first week, because I grew up in black church where it's no music. It's just
Yeah.
like someone sings, you pick it up, and here we go, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the conductor like put all the music on all the stands, and I'm just like, okay. So I sit there, I was like, are they gonna rehearse this? In my brain,
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I've never been around that close up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm watching them, and I'm like, the cutter's like, okay, here we go. We're gonna do it 6/8. Okay, you see on the frame, pick up in page. So turn to page 21. We're gonna be at frame bar 3, intro. All right, no, back it up 20. We're gonna be on the 3 of the 4-bar count. Here we go, 1, 2, and I was like, what the what?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, and they're all playing it.
Wow.
And like, I gotta practice that for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah.
hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And before you start, I need an hour of reprise.
Yeah. I need to-
So I can get my hands because
Sight reading.
right.
Sight reading.
Then it's like
It's
reading it like,
Yeah.
and so I understand what you mean because
Yeah.
I was just like, this is crazy. And then I think the next week I was in New York and we were cutting a record with big house DJ Louis Vega,
Okay.
and he brought us in, me and my partner, one of my partners, to orchestrate strings and horns. Well, I don't write like that, but my partner does.
Yeah.
So he walks in with his charts, under his arm, and I'm like, they're gonna play that right now?
Right.
He was like, yes, they are. And literally, musicians sat around and was like, okay, here we go. Okay, bring me on 48. Okay, no, 47. I'm sorry. 47. Wait, turn to page 23, people. It was like, and I think the cool thing about that is you realize there are people that play specific roles. That's what makes the music the music.
Yeah. That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all play a part in life. We all play a
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
That's what makes life life.
That's good.
Because you can't be everything. You can
Right.
play your part, and once you understand your part,
Yeah.
it's easy for you to play a role.
Man, you sound like my wife in a good way. Like that was one of the way. I'll be honest with you. Like I think a lot of creative people are extremely insecure too, and I struggle with that a lot. It depends on where I'm at, but that particular weekend, I was feeling extremely insecure about myself being around such great talent.
Right.
And so when it came to the day that I was going to cut vocals, man, I was having a hard time because I felt like I had to measure up.
Right.
And dude, we had to take a break that day in the middle of, tracking vocals, and like I needed to like reset my head, and my wife Brittany, she was like, are they incredible? Absolutely. But like, whose song are they playing to? Yours. Like, they're playing your music, not like you're not coming to something they're doing.
Right.
Like, they're coming into something that you created. Like, this is your music. Like, this is what you do well. Like, you write the music, you sing the songs. Like, this is your lane, they have their lane. And like, that's what makes the whole thing work. That's
Right.
what makes the music work, to your
Right.
point. And that's like, and it was a good reset for me to remember, like, okay, first of all, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I just have to be myself, because that's what
the
makes
key.
it work.
Hashtag be you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of times you have to go through things to find your voice.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, and I often tell like younger musicians or people that want to be in the music business or any business, it's like time will tell you what your voice is.
Wow.
But in order for you to find your voice, you got to go through things.
Yeah, that's good.
You have to try things
Mm-hmm.
to say. It's just like we were at the restaurant last night, right? And you were trying those different sauces.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
to a couple, you was like, oh, that ain't for me.
Yeah, I did.
But you wouldn't have known if you didn't try it,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Bumping your head. Sometimes bumping your head is a good thing because
Yeah.
it shows you, yeah, I might not want to do that.
Man.
I don't think. No, that's not that. I'm not cut out for that. I'm glad I tried it
Yeah.
because now I know. One, two, and I often tell people it's like you never lose. You only learn.
That's so good.
Like if I had a failed business opportunity, I didn't lose.
Yeah,
I walked away with more knowledge.
absolutely. It's yeah, and I feel like that's my personality anyway, is like if I'm like I feel like I have to, even if it's not something I'm gonna like uh win at or stick with for a long time, there's a lot of times where I feel like I have to do it. Like, because I have to, even if nothing ever comes of it, I have to do it because there's something so strong inside of me that's saying like, hey, you need to do this. And that's part of like, even if you fail at it, well, great. Like, dude, I mean,
You're feeling forward though.
absolutely. Who is it? I think it's, I heard a quote by, I think it was Dave Ramsey a couple weeks ago that said, I'm going to butcher this, but it was something to the effect of, it turns out success is just a big pile of failures, but instead of being crushed by them, you're standing on top of them.
That is
that
was
like
one of the best quotes ever. It's so true.
Wow.
It's so true. It's you and you are. But the thing is that I find out, especially in churches, and in dealing with media, staff, and musicians, is like we're all the same.
Yeah.
Because you have like I've had musician friends that can't play spontaneously.
Mm.
It has to be on paper,
Yeah.
or they can't play.
Yeah.
I have musician friends who don't want the paper. but they can play everything that's on the paper.
Right.
Then I have musician friends that can do both.
Yeah.
I have technical friends that can tell me what 2K sounds like if they whistle. Can say, oh, no, no, oh no, that's 4K. I have friends
Yeah.
that you can drop a penny and can say, oh, that's B flat. I have friends. I'm neither one of those things.
So good.
I can't tell you what 2K sounds like, but I can fix it.
Yep.
I can tell you, I can't tell you what B flat is naturally, but I can find it on the keyboard.
Yep.
So me personally, I had to get over my insecurities because I was around so many excellent people
Yeah.
that the comparison, the comparison of one to another is amazing in the sense that all it does is hold you back.
Yes.
If you fall into it, right? So what I've learned is the hashtag be you,
So good.
because the last time I checked, out of all the billions of people on the planet, your fingerprints don't match nobody's.
Wow.
That means you're one of one.
Yeah.
That means you're here for something specific. I may not be able to have perfect pitch. One of my best friends, he's always like, do you used to work on your perfect pitch? No, I don't, because you like what I do.
Yeah.
So when you send your records to me and you ask me to add my thing to it,
Yeah.
you're not asking me, well, do you know where actually C natural is?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you're not doing that. You're not
Right.
going, oh my God, the timbale is very harsh. No, you want me to do my thing on it.
Right.
You're calling me. You don't care what I know.
Right.
You care what I do,
That's good.
what I bring to it.
Yeah.
So hashtag be you.
Yeah.
So at all costs, be yourself. But inside of that whole nugget of insecurity, it's really people accepting what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where it is, because like a lot of times, especially when I'm mixing front of house, I always make sure that every musician feels that they're safe with me,
That's good.
because I know what it is to be on stage and not here, and songs about to start,
Yeah.
and I don't have perfect pitch, so I'm like, I gotta see it
Yeah.
for me to play. I gotta go re and B. I don't want to be fishing on stage like for key be in, because I can play in every key,
Right.
but I can't hear it like instantly.
Yeah.
So I know what my weakness is. So I have to protect myself. The engineer has to know that.
Yep.
If things get wonky, I turn my monitor up, bring me down in the house, and I find where I am and listen from where I'm at. So I watch the stage when I mix. I watch for body language. I watch in rehearsal. I watch for the song that person is not sure about. I watch for that singer who is the song may be a little too high for them. I know that because I'm a musician and producer. I can tell, oh, she is not warmed up, and this is a little too high for her. She's trying to find her tone. So when this song starts, I want to duck her down in the mix. I want to solo her
Yeah.
till I hear where she is. And once I hear that, she's got it, and she's not. If she start, you can tell when the singer's looking for their note, because they start looking around
Yeah.
and they start leaning into the person next to them. If they're in the same, if they're both altos or tenors or sopranos or whatever, they start listening for the note.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching you listen for the notes. I'm gonna duck you down.
Yeah.
Every time, every church I mix at, every musician says thank you,
Mm.
because I understand what it's like to be on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand what it's like to make yourself vulnerable, because what you're doing is you're sharing the inner parts of your heart.
That's right.
You're sharing your essence,
Yeah.
and you want it to be handled gently
Yeah.
and with care. And that's the part where engineers and musicians part, because if an engineer doesn't have the heart to care, there's no trust.
Totally. Yeah. If the engineer doesn't, yeah, that's one of the, gosh, there's so much to unpack there. So much of what you said was so good. especially when you're talking about when you're on stage or when you're in the studio or what have you. Like, there's some approval stuff wrapped up in there too, which is feeds into the insecurity of the
Right,
artist.
right.
Is the artist obviously, while we are bearing our soul, we obviously hope people like it at the
Right,
same time. We don't
right,
want to screw it up.
right,
And knowing that we have the engineer's trust is literally everything too, especially in a live sound situation. Like, if we know that, number one, the engineer is listening to us, the way that we sound, and is trying to bring out the best in that, and is trying to get, like, not to be like about myself, but like, I want to pull out Patrick. If I'm listening to Patrick on stage, like, I want Patrick to sound what Patrick should sound like and sound his best. And if I know that the engineer feels that way about me, oh, dude, I'm like, it calms my nerves instantly because I know he's got my back.
right.
And I also know that he's going to tell me if I'm pitchy or if I'm in a nice way. He's going to be like, hey, watch this note or watch this. And it's going to be like, dude, he's looking out for me. But he's looking out for the whole thing. But
Right.
he's like, he has my back. And that's huge, man. The
Yeah.
trust piece is like massive. It
The
helps.
thing is like, that's the one thing that you can't teach.
Mm,
Humility and care.
yeah.
You can't teach it. You have to have it or experience or know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So when I'm training engineers, I model it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I model it. If I'm coming to mix at your church, whoever is your young guy or young girl, I'm gonna say, just hang with me, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Yeah.
And if you got questions, hit me after.
Yeah.
We'll go through it in detail.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna model care. Forget engineer excellence. That's second. I
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna model care,
Mm.
because care is something that you can't get in a book.
Yeah. That's good.
Care is something that you model on how to treat people. My mother used to say this thing all the time to me. She would always say, "It's not what you say, it's how you say it."
Oh. That's
So
good.
if I need the bass player to turn down and he's not listening to me, I'm gonna model care. I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Hey, listen, let me illustrate this to you. Your bass cabinet, you're up on it, so you can't tell how loud it is.
Mm.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just play and just walk forward in front of your cabinet, just slowly? And once that bass player gets about 4 feet, he's gonna go, "Oh my
Yeah.
God," because he's too close to it. He
Yeah.
can't tell. So then I said, "All right, so let me do this. I know you want to hear yourself, and it's really loud in the house, and I can't get any balance in here because your bass is overwhelming. Do you mind if I bring your cabinet back 4 feet so you can hear it and I can turn it down in the house?"
Nice.
I showed him that I care.
Yeah.
I illustrated the issue, and I illustrated that he was the issue in
Yeah.
a way that wasn't demeaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he's like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
so tell me
Man.
about Ascension Worship.
Yeah. Man, they're like family. I've been a part of Ascension in some way, shape, or form since I was probably 20 years old, something like that, for about 15 years. Um, Jamie Miley, he's the guy who's the head of all of it, and he married me and my wife. He's like one of my best friends. He's a great guy, and it's great, man. They do so many things to resource the local church. Like, they've been going strong for a long time. When I lived in Jacksonville, I used to be on staff with them, and I used to lead worship at their monthly events as well. I used to be a part of the network, and now I still have a hand in, like, we did some original Ascension stuff a couple years back, like literally right before COVID hit. We recorded a live record, and so writing some of that stuff with them, and really the past couple of years, my main deal is being a part of the Ascension Collective, which is essentially made up of a group of worship leaders and musicians, and do camps, conferences, that whole thing. And there's some original music, which is what I just mentioned a a couple minutes ago. And so that's kind of the role that I play now, which is different from previous years, but it's literally like family over there. So I love it. I love getting to be a part of it, and getting to be here this week is always a blast, and meeting new friends, obviously.
Yeah. So Ascension Worship basically provides a service to the church on the music and the engineering side.
Yeah, so they have this, or we have this section of it's called the network, and basically the way it works, I forget how many cities it's in, just because I don't see that a whole lot of that side of it anymore, but it's in a ton of cities across like America. And like basically the way it works is like we have a network of musicians in your city, and if there is like a call out on a Sunday morning, like you need a bass player or your drummer's sick or what have you, or it doesn't have to be that situation. It might be like we don't have drummers period, or we don't have XYZ period. Like we need some help with this. Like Ascension will find somebody that's quality in your area, get you connected, facilitate all the planning center info, facilitate communicating with the church and the musician, facilitate the payment, take care of, I mean, literally it's a turnkey service to where it's like we're filling the need for the church. So
I need to have Jamie on the show.
yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000%. And he would have been here this week. He just wasn't feeling great. He was supposed to be here. So, but yeah, he would be
definitely
great to have on the show.
I'm excited. I have a myriad of questions.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he could answer them. I will do a very poor job of answering them, but Jamie would be able to.
Is he a fun guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then
man.
he's going to be good. If I can call Pastor Brown.
Oh, absolutely. You can call Pastor Brown, and we, half of our interaction is all movie quotes. I don't think that we've had a conversation in 7 years. No, it's a blast. It's a blast.
Oh, man.
Yes, for sure. You need to have Jamie on the show.
Definitely. So definitely plug me in on that. So
I will.
All right. So
I will.
Before we get out of here,
Yeah. Okay.
we do this game
Okay.
called 30 Seconds. And go.
Oh.
True, false, yes, no questions.
Oh my gosh.
No question is bad.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. When it comes to acoustic guitars, what is your pick?
It's got to be my main gal is a 1968 Gibson J50. That's what I have been using for the past few years.
Okay. Question 2. Do you prefer electric or acoustic?
I predominantly play acoustic, but I still do a lot of electric work in the studio and stuff like that, but mainly I play acoustic.
Okay. Question 3. Strat or Gibson?
Oh man, I have a Strat. I have a Fender Strat, an 80s Fender Strat for electric, so I do love Fenders for electrics, but I do like Gibsons as well, but I have a Strat right now.
Okay. When it comes to amplifiers.
Ooh. I have a Fender Deluxe that's really old that I've been using for a long time, but there's so much amp modeling out these days, you hardly even need an amp. So, like, a UAD amp modeler is great too.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough one.
Okay.
What were your favorite sneakers as a kid?
Favorite sneakers? Oh my goodness, it had to be these Allen Iverson sneakers.
Oh, the 30s.
They were all white, and I wanted them so bad. My parents bought them for me as new school shoes, and I wasn't allowed to wear them to the first day of school, but I wore them and snuck behind their back, and I got in huge trouble because I couldn't wait to wear them. Anyway, the Allen Iversons, man.
The answers. The answers.
Come on.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Okay, come on.
So, I grew up in Harlem, and the world-famous Rucker Park basketball tournament. The EBC Entertainers Basketball Classic was started by my childhood friends.
Wow.
So, and they're the announcers. They're the announcers on the mic.
Oh my gosh.
So these are my childhood
That's
friends.
awesome.
They're the announcers on the mic,
Yeah.
and every NBA player is coming through the park
Wow.
on a weekly basis. Like, it's Monday through Thursday. So,
Oh my gosh.
so dude, I'm literally sitting courtside next to Puffy because he has a team in it. He has a team in there, and I'm sitting there next to, and my boy is right next to me. Al Cash, shout to Al Cash and Duke Tango, and I'm sitting courtside, and you would never guess who's the starting backcourt. Allen Iverson
Oh my
and
gosh.
Stephon Marbury.
Ooh.
In the front court, 18-year-old Kevin Garnett.
Wow. Holy cow.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude.
I wouldn't have known what to do.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's unbelievable.
Dude, it was the most ridiculous game.
I'm sure.
Oh my gosh.
Are you super into basketball?
Oh, dude.
Who's your favorite player? Or who was your favorite player when you were a kid?
When I
It
was
doesn't
a
matter
kid,
what time frame.
when I was a kid, it was probably Magic.
Oh, nice.
Magic. It's so many, man.
I'm a Jordan fan. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I love Jordan. Is that
Yeah,
too?
yeah, yeah.
Is that too popular to
No,
say?
no, no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no,
dude,
no,
I
no,
mean,
no,
come
no,
on,
no,
he's the
no,
GOAT.
no, no, no.
I have
It's-
many favorites, but when I was a kid,
It's
was
not.
the GOAT.
It's not. But if I had to pick a player
yeah.
that I always loved to watch, he didn't make it to the pros. He played for Syracuse
Okay.
in the early 80s. I'm really dating myself. He played for Syracuse in the early to mid 80s. His name was Pearl Washington.
Oh my gosh, it's such a sick name.
Dude, let me tell you something. I know we're
I already
off
know
topic.
he's good.
Dude, let me tell you something. So, in the park tournaments, everyone had a nickname, and the announcers gave them their nicknames.
Okay.
Right? Pearl didn't need anybody to
No,
give his name. He
no.
didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Right? So he would show up on a moped on a bike, right, to a game, right. I remember one time he fouled out the game. Everybody left the park.
Oh my gosh.
That's how ridiculous he was.
Wow.
He's like, foul number 6, Pearl Washington is foul out the game. People just start getting their stuff and leaving.
Dang.
I mean, yo, if you're a ball head, any ball heads out there, research Pearl Washington. Dude was the most incredible high school basketball player you've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I digress. Listen, I hope that you had a really good time.
Man, I did. It was a blast. We talked about so much good stuff. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you decided to embrace me with your presence.
It's awesome, man.
I'm going to say, like we always say, keep God first in everything you do. And I'll see you next time on the Church Sound Podcast.